This 2001 Pontiac Aztek base model, and it's 54 foot-pounds of torque. And to get a torque wrench in there, I had to use one of these, and I think it's as far as the pulley goes, I think it's a 13 or 14. Let's try the 13, and so let's try the 14 then. So yeah, nope, it's not it either. Okay, so it's a 15, and to get clearance, I put a short 3/8 extension. And on this motor, like I said, you don't have to, in another video I shot, changing this harmonic balancer, you do not have to drop the engine cradle. You can pull it off with these cheap pullers, and you got clearance. Where my finger is, as you can see, you got a straight shot in there to put your puller on there. But what problem I had of trying to torque this on is, you know, you try to torque and this thing wants to turn. So I'm like, well, I know there's a flywheel stopper tool that that bolts on to next to the starter after you take the cover off on this particular engine, but I don't have one of those. So I'm like, well, I had to improvise. So I took the harmonic balancer pulley, and I put a bolt in here and bolt in here, and then I took my ratchet, a 3/8 inch ratchet, and I stuck it in like this, if I can get it to do it. And then I locked it. So whenever I turned to get as tight as I could here. So when I torqued it, because you know, righty tighty, lefty loosey, when I torqued this, the flywheel, you know, the harmonic balancer, it would stop the crank from turning because it's wedged against this. So when you turn it, you can actually torque your flywheel bolt down, your harmonic balancer bolt down to the proper torque without this turning. And that way you don't have to go out and get a special tool. You're just going to simply use your harmonic balancer. And the one I got here, as I said in another video, it's a grip. The model is 21420. Picked this up on eBay for, I think, $30 some. They're inexpensive. And the bolts I used for this application on this Aztek with the 3400 engine was these two bolts here, we know, with the puller. And I put this right here. It's a plug, and it goes in the bottom of this thing here. Just simply, you know, pops in there, whatnot. Make sure you grease this bolt up with some high pressure grease, because if not, they want to strip out. It's cheap. So, but long if you put some high pressure grease on this, it'd be great. But like I said, once you remove it with this kit here, put the washers, make sure you put washers on these, obviously. Grease your bolts, everything. Now, the installer I used is it's a J tool. I don't expect everybody out here to have one, but if you can get one, they are $50 some on eBay. And also, if you want the crank shaft seal for this particular engine and several others, it's the EN48869 Kentmore. I picked this up used on eBay for 28 bucks. There's some people selling them for more, but this has got the thrust bearing, it's got the washer or the nut in it. It's pretty much the whole thing. It's, You know, I figure I get it because whenever you do the crankshaft seal with a special tool like that, you don't risk having to hammer it in and all this stuff. It screws in and it goes in a lot straighter and perfect. But here is the setup I used as far as like installing the harmonic balancer. I had some leftover axle nuts, whatever, and this is the old balancer, and of course it came apart, as you can see. So what I done, I didn't want to use this nut to force against the inside of this, so I had just an old axle nut, and it fits in there just perfect in that little recess right here, because there's a little recess. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a recess and it fits in there perfect. And of course, and then I had an axle washer, and I just sent that on there. That way when I screwed it on, it was pushing against this, and this part here actually screws into your crank. So once you get this screwed in there, you just barely snug it down, and then you're screwing onto this to actually push the harmonic balancer on. So that's the gist of that. But this J tool here, it run me like $58, and the particular model, I picked it up on eBay also. It's J-29113-1, but you can leave the -1 off and it'll still pull people up selling them. But it's a good tool, and this will work in several different motors, not only the 3400 GM. But I hope this helps anybody, you know, who comes to a situation like this. So if you don't care, like and subscribe, and stay dirty.